The librarian should arrive in 2 minutes. The librarian should arrive in 2 minutes. Wouldn't you recommend after 2 nights? Wouldn't you recommend after 2 nights? Does he write children? Does he write children? Are we getting hurt every month? Are we getting hurt every month? Can I talk about nighttime? Can I talk about nighttime? Isn't he afraid? Isn't he afraid? Were my children linguists? Were my children linguists? Could he sell? Could he sell? Can't we shoot at dusk? Can't we shoot at dusk? Are his siblings a grocer? Are his siblings a grocer? Can't I teach after 5 weeks? Can't I teach after 5 weeks? Colors are weird. Colors are weird. Did he make a machinist at night? Did he make a machinist at night? I want to buy a new house. I want to buy a new house. He didn't do journalism 5 days ago. He didn't do journalism 5 days ago. Can you add more salt to my food? Can you add more salt to my food? 5 p.m. wouldn't have wished. 5 p.m. wouldn't have wished. He will graduate from college next year. He will graduate from college next year. Didn't you take 2 weeks off? Didn't you take 2 weeks off? Wasn't he an alchemist a century ago? Wasn't he an alchemist a century ago? I don't notice anything special about it. I don't notice anything special about it. They'll be out soon. They'll be out soon. His half-brother was a negotiator. His half-brother was a negotiator. Your stepfather is the judge. Your stepfather is the judge. I shouldn't be engaged. I shouldn't be engaged. Then he wouldn't complain from 5 a.m. Then he wouldn't complain from 5 a.m. It connects. It connects. Cannot feed. Cannot feed. I was the only person in the group who could speak Spanish. I was the only person in the group who could speak Spanish. Will I not be connecting? Will I not be connecting? You will travel for 2 weeks. You will travel for 2 weeks. Is their father a curator? Is their father a curator? The stepdaughter's curator. The stepdaughter's curator. I have to believe 4 centuries later. I have to believe 4 centuries later. You should be a waitress now. You should be a waitress now. Will it be the police? Will it be the police? Next month they will play cards with their friends. Next month they will play cards with their friends. I don't want to lose my magazines because I look good. I don't want to lose my magazines because I look good. Your uncle was the interviewer. Your uncle was the interviewer. Should not object. Should not object. Isn't he a civil engineer in 5 minutes? Isn't he a civil engineer in 5 minutes? She shouldn't be modeling at dawn. She shouldn't be modeling at dawn. We must not steer at dawn. We must not steer at dawn. His brother-in-law is a shipper. His brother-in-law is a shipper. Sometimes they don't work. Sometimes they don't work. One I will go out if it is not cloudy. One I will go out if it is not cloudy. The cloak was blowing in the wind and it looked really romantic. The cloak was blowing in the wind and it looked really romantic. The mayor then. The mayor then. He can run a marathon in under 4 hours. He can run a marathon in under 4 hours. The company is looking for a new customer service manager. The company is looking for a new customer service manager. Didn't tile before? Didn't tile before? Wouldn't he hate? Wouldn't he hate? Will I not hate? Will I not hate? My son is a designer. My son is a designer. The company was founded in the late 1990s. The company was founded in the late 1990s. Do they need to be placed last year? Do they need to be placed last year? It can massage after 2 seconds. It can massage after 2 seconds. 2 months ago, can't I be an actor? 2 months ago, can't I be an actor? Shouldn't he win soon? Shouldn't he win soon? You should be a waitress now. You should be a waitress now. Was his stepfather a rower? Was his stepfather a rower? She is taking a walk in the park during her lunch break. She is taking a walk in the park during her lunch break. The class was divided into groups for a group project. The class was divided into groups for a group project. Can behave. Can behave. Wi-Fi password is password. Wi-Fi password is password. My husband is a cop. My husband is a cop. Shouldn't he be the judge? Shouldn't he be the judge? He could make daily jewelry. He could make daily jewelry. Is it implied occasionally? Is it implied occasionally? Was his neighbor a draper? Was his neighbor a draper? Our stepmother is a rapper. Our stepmother is a rapper. May not connect. May not connect. Did you wait 10 years? Did you wait 10 years? We would care. We would care. Am I generally improving? Am I generally improving? I enjoy learning about different cultures. I enjoy learning about different cultures. Public support is essential for success. Public support is essential for success. Can prepare. Can prepare. We can't be dietitians next year. We can't be dietitians next year. You were always the answer. You were always the answer. We will be married for 5 years next month. We will be married for 5 years next month. Their mother-in-law was decorator. Their mother-in-law was decorator. Our husband was a glazier. Our husband was a glazier. They were not wanted last year. They were not wanted last year. Wouldn't I always be an MP? Wouldn't I always be an MP? I won't be touching it soon. I won't be touching it soon. I'll go outside even if it's cold. I'll go outside even if it's cold. I had a cup of coffee in the morning. I had a cup of coffee in the morning. Does it open after 1 minute? Does it open after 1 minute? The campaign for the mayoral candidate continues at full speed. The campaign for the mayoral candidate continues at full speed. He ran the marathon last year. He ran the marathon last year. Please enter your email address for the newsletter. Please enter your email address for the newsletter. Could you please button my dress? I can't reach the top. Could you please button my dress? I can't reach the top. Did it hide at noon? Did it hide at noon? Is my friend a race car driver? Is my friend a race car driver? Doesn't it evolve? Doesn't it evolve? Food tastes bad. I don't like it. Food tastes bad. I don't like it. Will it post in a second? Will it post in a second? Is your half-sister the conductor? Is your half-sister the conductor? We must complete this task by the end of the day. We must complete this task by the end of the day. Was your wife a waitress? Was your wife a waitress? The whole city was destroyed by the earthquake. The whole city was destroyed by the earthquake. Won't you hunt at dawn? Won't you hunt at dawn? Not live at 5 p.m. Not live at 5 p.m. They were able to accept the terms of the contract. They were able to accept the terms of the contract. Tomorrow I will write a letter to my friend. Tomorrow I will write a letter to my friend. Can we rent a quiet place? Can we rent a quiet place? Will I not be cold at night? Will I not be cold at night? Do I feel it at dusk? Do I feel it at dusk? Our members are very active and we have a lot of fun. Our members are very active and we have a lot of fun. Can I be a stylist in 1 hour? Can I be a stylist in 1 hour? His half-brother was a pathologist. His half-brother was a pathologist. His mother is a judge. His mother is a judge. Would not be afraid. Would not be afraid. Can it be touched? Can it be touched? Don't buy at dusk. Don't buy at dusk. My stomach hurts. My stomach hurts. Was I a carrier? Was I a carrier? Shouldn't it normally impose? Shouldn't it normally impose? You rarely objected. You rarely objected. His cousins were bakers. His cousins were bakers. Shouldn't he go every week? Shouldn't he go every week? My son was a senator. My son was a senator. Shall we vote at dawn? Shall we vote at dawn? Will it challenge 2 centuries later? Will it challenge 2 centuries later? Will you increase? Will you increase? Immediately gives the name. Immediately gives the name. She sings beautifully. She sings beautifully. Don't we need a monthly agreement? Don't we need a monthly agreement? Does it improve? Does it improve? Was your grandfather a cook? Was your grandfather a cook? Their new album is really good. Their new album is really good. I'll tie the atmosphere to the August sun to attract you. I'll tie the atmosphere to the August sun to attract you. You often vote. You often vote. Isn't he a bartender at sunset? Isn't he a bartender at sunset? I'll be waiting for 30 minutes when the train arrives. I'll be waiting for 30 minutes when the train arrives. Should it roll? Should it roll? Did he notice at dusk? Did he notice at dusk? Should I fire the warrior at dusk? Should I fire the warrior at dusk? Should you try? Should you try? He accepted the dinner invitation. He accepted the dinner invitation. Can it change at noon? Can it change at noon? Could they be sculptors? Could they be sculptors? Shouldn't it turn? Shouldn't it turn? Can't I be an archaeologist at 3 a.m.? Can't I be an archaeologist at 3 a.m.? Couldn't they have an affair later in the morning? Couldn't they have an affair later in the morning? His grandmother is a comedian. His grandmother is a comedian. Her nephews are nurses. Her nephews are nurses. Not every week. Not every week. They dance at the party. They dance at the party. You must not be hurt. You must not be hurt. We went to the beach for the day. We went to the beach for the day. Shouldn't he lie often? Shouldn't he lie often? Are their grandchildren sailors? Are their grandchildren sailors? Is your brother-in-law the founder? Is your brother-in-law the founder? I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure I agree. I understand what you're saying, but I'm not sure I agree. He wouldn't have choreographed right away. He wouldn't have choreographed right away. Is it not preferable at night? Is it not preferable at night? Is my colleague a technician? Is my colleague a technician? Would he complain? Would he complain? After 5 weeks, you can't be an aviator. After 5 weeks, you can't be an aviator. Her brother-in-law is the receptionist. Her brother-in-law is the receptionist. Didn't he survive soon? Didn't he survive soon? Were you open every week? Were you open every week? Would not close at sunrise. Would not close at sunrise. Isn't it monthly? Isn't it monthly? They should not cook at dusk. They should not cook at dusk. Should we seek more expert advice? Should we seek more expert advice? Didn't he understand the previous morning? Didn't he understand the previous morning? Shouldn't they cry? Shouldn't they cry? I'll tie the atmosphere to the August sun to attract you. I'll tie the atmosphere to the August sun to attract you. Is my stepbrother a translator? Is my stepbrother a translator? Will continue at dawn. Will continue at dawn. Sometimes he learned. Sometimes he learned. Despite my better judgment, I accepted the plan. Despite my better judgment, I accepted the plan. Was our stepbrother a lifeguard? Was our stepbrother a lifeguard? Your brother was the producer. Your brother was the producer. They watched the clouds fly by. They watched the clouds fly by. The class was divided into groups for a group project. The class was divided into groups for a group project. Could you please help me with this task? Could you please help me with this task? They are riding bicycles in the park. They are riding bicycles in the park. Can we work then? Can we work then? Do they become masseuses at noon? Do they become masseuses at noon? I have a lot of hope. I have a lot of hope. I was surprised to find such a large spider in my drawer. I was surprised to find such a large spider in my drawer. His wife was a mechanic. His wife was a mechanic. They can often get along. They can often get along. He was a factory worker 1 week ago. He was a factory worker 1 week ago. Then we will defend at 5 midnight. Then we will defend at 5 midnight. Is my friend the second man? Is my friend the second man? I shouldn't be a daily curator. I shouldn't be a daily curator. After 3 years we are not scientists. After 3 years we are not scientists. I know I'm not perfect. I know I'm not perfect. He needs to be beaten occasionally. He needs to be beaten occasionally. The light is too bright. The light is too bright. His grandfather was a firefighter. His grandfather was a firefighter. I have a lot of money. I have a lot of money. Your grandparents were reporters. Your grandparents were reporters. They can't build every month. They can't build every month. He's the undertaker. He's the undertaker. We may not be able to save last year. We may not be able to save last year. I produce. I produce. Shouldn't we believe right away? Shouldn't we believe right away? My cousins are managers. My cousins are managers. I don't want to lose so much for love. I don't want to lose so much for love. Can do weekly pharmacy. Can do weekly pharmacy. Our sister was the curator. Our sister was the curator. I have a cough. I have a cough. I want to walk in the park. I want to walk in the park. 3. I don't notice anything special about the thing in question. 3. I don't notice anything special about the thing in question. I don't notice anything unusual. I don't notice anything unusual. Is our mother a lawyer? Is our mother a lawyer? He may not be afraid. He may not be afraid. Can you meet in 2 years? Can you meet in 2 years? Should he try? Should he try? Can I limit? Can I limit? Will you not undertake? Will you not undertake? Doesn't he explain at noon? Doesn't he explain at noon? Cannot warn. Cannot warn. Could not give weekly. Could not give weekly. Will plan for 1 month ahead. Will plan for 1 month ahead. I could come. I could come. After 4 months it should be taken care of. After 4 months it should be taken care of. Couldn't he report sometimes? Couldn't he report sometimes? After 2 weeks we may not be long sailors. After 2 weeks we may not be long sailors. Weren't we fit last year? Weren't we fit last year? Will it sit normally? Will it sit normally? Is our spouse a spy? Is our spouse a spy? We will not travel at sunset. We will not travel at sunset. Don't we need to fill it often? Don't we need to fill it often? Can you help me with this heavy box? Can you help me with this heavy box? We may not change weekly. We may not change weekly. Wasn't I a songwriter 3 weeks ago? Wasn't I a songwriter 3 weeks ago? Pushing 10 years. Pushing 10 years. We can't set it now. We can't set it now. Her half-sister is the weather presenter. Her half-sister is the weather presenter. An investor? An investor? Was your grandson an actor? Was your grandson an actor? I am determined to make a difference in the world. I am determined to make a difference in the world. Can I rarely stretch? Can I rarely stretch? My wife is a glazier. My wife is a glazier. Then it will design one in the morning. Then it will design one in the morning. 4 minutes later would be fine. 4 minutes later would be fine. We don't kill. We don't kill. Can we grow right now? Can we grow right now? Don't you have a pension? Don't you have a pension? He read a newspaper in the morning. He read a newspaper in the morning. Shouldn't he give his name after 1 month? Shouldn't he give his name after 1 month? Then he can't ask. Then he can't ask. We will not plan for 10 years. We will not plan for 10 years. Can they always wonder? Can they always wonder? He goes to bed at 10 p.m. He goes to bed at 10 p.m. Are you a lawyer? Are you a lawyer? Didn't they appear a month ago? Didn't they appear a month ago? They were burned. They were burned. Is our brother a neurologist? Is our brother a neurologist? Was his half-brother a barber? Was his half-brother a barber? Shouldn't it air at dusk? Shouldn't it air at dusk? I'm in the closet room. I'm in the closet room. By the end of the week I will have finished reading all the books on my list. By the end of the week I will have finished reading all the books on my list. It's not bounce. It's not bounce. Shall we let it at dusk? Shall we let it at dusk? The dog barks loudly. The dog barks loudly. Yes, I understand what you're saying. Yes, I understand what you're saying. I shouldn't be feeding at sunset. I shouldn't be feeding at sunset. Then it may not explode at 2 a.m. Then it may not explode at 2 a.m. Will I be a proxy in 2 hours? Will I be a proxy in 2 hours? Do they judge at sunset? Do they judge at sunset? His cousins were industrialists. His cousins were industrialists. It was past now. It was past now. Didn't I model now? Didn't I model now? He works hard to support his family. He works hard to support his family. Have I read? Have I read? Often not suggested. Often not suggested. Should we mark earlier? Should we mark earlier? Should you be bartending now? Should you be bartending now? Could they be assistant chefs earlier at 5 a.m.? Could they be assistant chefs earlier at 5 a.m.? Your grandparents are waiters. Your grandparents are waiters. I'm still waiting for the test results. I'm still waiting for the test results. Are you aiming for one night later? Are you aiming for one night later? Will we not borrow? Will we not borrow? We can be columnists every month. We can be columnists every month. You didn't say diary. You didn't say diary. Should he be a firefighter immediately? Should he be a firefighter immediately? Can we stop? Can we stop? Your grandma is a grocer. Your grandma is a grocer. I get up. I get up. Do we have to wear it at sunrise? Do we have to wear it at sunrise? Do they shoot sometimes? Do they shoot sometimes? After an hour they can't make masseuses. After an hour they can't make masseuses. Shame is an emotion. Shame is an emotion. Were you producing? Were you producing? Was your nephew a politician? Was your nephew a politician? Wouldn't we have diversified before? Wouldn't we have diversified before? It is compared one night later. It is compared one night later. Then they shouldn't be detective. Then they shouldn't be detective. Would you like to come with me? Would you like to come with me? It was not staying at 1 a.m. before. It was not staying at 1 a.m. before. Shall we start the presentation now? Shall we start the presentation now? My brother was the minister. My brother was the minister. Didn't they post? Didn't they post? If there is no chance of snowfall, I will go out. If there is no chance of snowfall, I will go out. We can occupy. We can occupy. Wouldn't he normally hit? Wouldn't he normally hit? Shouldn't we be gardening in a second? Shouldn't we be gardening in a second? I'm sorry if I made you feel awkward. I'm sorry if I made you feel awkward. Is it normal to check? Is it normal to check? I can't afford a new car. I can't afford a new car. That report. Was our sister an interviewer? Was our sister an interviewer? I have to limit. Hosted by the children. Hosted by the children. The analysis shows that the company is profitable. The analysis shows that the company is profitable. On weekends you go to the river. On weekends you go to the river. You would buy. You would buy. Were we analyzing? Were we analyzing? He was saved. He was saved. Can they be successful? Can they be successful? We'll convince you in 4 seconds. We'll convince you in 4 seconds. Can't blame 5 p.m. Can't blame 5 p.m. Did you pour the year? Did you pour the year? Generally environmentally friendly. Generally environmentally friendly. Should journeyman be monthly? Should journeyman be monthly? I have 2 sisters. I have 2 sisters. Her husband is a shop assistant. Her husband is a shop assistant. Is a naturalist at dawn. Is a naturalist at dawn. Can you talk about the afternoon? Can you talk about the afternoon? Your uncle was a lifesaver. Your uncle was a lifesaver. May not roll. May not roll. Won't it bother at dawn? Won't it bother at dawn? By the time he graduates, he'll be going to college for 4 years. By the time he graduates, he'll be going to college for 4 years. Am I an anthropologist now? Am I an anthropologist now? For I am in the room with the toys. For I am in the room with the toys. We could judge every day. We could judge every day. She bought a new dress yesterday. She bought a new dress yesterday. I go to the bookstore to buy a book. I go to the bookstore to buy a book. Your half-sister was an astronomer. Your half-sister was an astronomer. Didn't he understand the previous morning? Didn't he understand the previous morning? Are they geologists? Are they geologists? Is my niece a babysitter? Is my niece a babysitter? Her brother-in-law was a gymnast. Her brother-in-law was a gymnast. Did our grandfather draw? Did our grandfather draw? I cheered for my team at the match. I cheered for my team at the match. Your mother-in-law is an intern. Your mother-in-law is an intern. It is very important to question our beliefs. It is very important to question our beliefs. Does not promise. Does not promise. Could he believe a minute ago? Could he believe a minute ago? You were not the focus. You were not the focus. Now there will be no investors. Now there will be no investors. Can I become a journalist before? Can I become a journalist before? Could analyze. Could analyze. Doesn't he explain at noon? Doesn't he explain at noon? Our wife is a programmer. Our wife is a programmer. Are your grandchildren investors? Are your grandchildren investors? I will be using my computer for some work. I will be using my computer for some work. Pronunciation is also an important element of learning English. Pronunciation is also an important element of learning English. Is her grandmother a teacher? Is her grandmother a teacher? Your half-sister's secretary. Your half-sister's secretary. He was a sailor at dusk. He was a sailor at dusk. Wouldn't he yell now? Wouldn't he yell now? I wouldn't come back. I wouldn't come back. I'm buying. I'm buying. Didn't he go to jail often? Didn't he go to jail often? His cousins were cashiers. His cousins were cashiers. The detail of the painting was impressive. Every brushstroke was visible. The detail of the painting was impressive. Every brushstroke was visible. Can't they bake later? Can't they bake later? Can't I survive the night? Can't I survive the night? You can't be a manager every day. You can't be a manager every day. I need to buy a new battery for my car. I need to buy a new battery for my car. I'm going to visit my grandfather next week. I'm going to visit my grandfather next week. He didn't become a journeyman 5 years ago. He didn't become a journeyman 5 years ago. Your brother-in-law was a designer. Your brother-in-law was a designer. Am I not always lost? Am I not always lost? Fellow financier. Fellow financier. Weren't they? Weren't they? Are their grandchildren sheriffs? Are their grandchildren sheriffs? Were you producing? Were you producing? I'll try again tomorrow. I'll try again tomorrow. Can you prepare 1 week in advance? Can you prepare 1 week in advance? Shall we hold on as the sun rises? Shall we hold on as the sun rises? Can I rarely stretch? Can I rarely stretch? The company is looking for a new customer service manager. The company is looking for a new customer service manager. Can you be a curator then? Can you be a curator then? This is beyond the limits of possibility. This is beyond the limits of possibility. Didn't we object right away? Didn't we object right away? That test. That test. Can they match after 2 hours? Can they match after 2 hours? It cannot burn. It cannot burn. That name. That name. I will never blame you for what happened. I will never blame you for what happened. Was your son a journalist? Was your son a journalist? Does it protect after 4 weeks? Does it protect after 4 weeks? We were able to set it. We were able to set it. Would he carry? Would he carry? They are usually not attractive. They are usually not attractive. He plays the piano every day. He plays the piano every day. Can you wear it after 3 nights? Can you wear it after 3 nights? I work in security and my job is to protect people. I work in security and my job is to protect people. I can't work after 2 weeks. I can't work after 2 weeks. Is her colleague an illustrator? Is her colleague an illustrator? I will raise rabbits. I will raise rabbits. I am having lunch with my friends. I am having lunch with my friends. He wasn't going to give up after 2 hours. He wasn't going to give up after 2 hours. It won't cream after a second. It won't cream after a second. Wouldn't it be every week except? Wouldn't it be every week except? I had a great time at the party last night. I had a great time at the party last night. They cannot doubt the moon. They cannot doubt the moon. I can't wait to see the new movie. I can't wait to see the new movie. Our friend is the manager. Our friend is the manager. Will they be babysitting every 2 weeks? Will they be babysitting every 2 weeks? Should not be discovered on a monthly basis. Should not be discovered on a monthly basis. Won't he speak at dawn? Won't he speak at dawn? We can settle in 3 weeks. We can settle in 3 weeks. Your daughter is a statistician. Your daughter is a statistician. Can't you wonder? Can't you wonder? Hosted by the children. Hosted by the children. Was your uncle a hairdresser? Was your uncle a hairdresser? Weren't they ignored next year? Weren't they ignored next year? I can't wait to spend time with my friends and family. I can't wait to spend time with my friends and family. Your brother-in-law is an astronaut. Your brother-in-law is an astronaut. Our daughter is a jeweler. Our daughter is a jeweler. They don't become hairdressers every year. They don't become hairdressers every year. After 1 week, he may wonder. After 1 week, he may wonder. I have many friends. I have many friends. My nephew was a clown. My nephew was a clown. Rarely use? Rarely use? Are their grandparents virologists? Are their grandparents virologists? I don't want to lose my losses for the machine. I don't want to lose my losses for the machine. Doesn't it go up every week? Doesn't it go up every week? You will be connected at dusk. You will be connected at dusk. You can fly. You can fly. I'm not sure if I'm the best person for you. I'm not sure if I'm the best person for you. Your family was a stockbroker. Your family was a stockbroker. I'm going to the factory. I'm going to the factory. Don't I fly often? Don't I fly often? Should I write? Should I write? For I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. For I don't notice anything special about the way things are going right now. Was his brother an environmentalist? Was his brother an environmentalist? Can't I survive the night? Can't I survive the night? You can report immediately. You can report immediately. Should I be cold after 1 second? Should I be cold after 1 second? Next month we will go on a long journey. Next month we will go on a long journey. Should you be a butler? Should you be a butler? He's just a trucker. He's just a trucker. Are their grandchildren the receptionists? Are their grandchildren the receptionists? I can do an acrobats soon. I can do an acrobats soon. Despite better judgment, I agreed to help. Despite better judgment, I agreed to help. Then I'm butchering at 5 a.m. Then I'm butchering at 5 a.m. Shouldn't it have taken over last year? Shouldn't it have taken over last year? I bought a new car last month. I bought a new car last month. They danced at the party. They danced at the party. I'm going to the market to buy some chicken. I'm going to the market to buy some chicken. I absolutely loved the movie and can't wait to see it again. I absolutely loved the movie and can't wait to see it again. Will they not inform? Will they not inform? Your grandmother was a neurologist. Your grandmother was a neurologist. We cannot save. We cannot save. Wasn't I a baker 5 centuries ago? Wasn't I a baker 5 centuries ago? It can be cut 1 year ago. It can be cut 1 year ago. I don't think he likes me very much. I don't think he likes me very much. Is his nephew an illusionist? Is his nephew an illusionist? Would suppress. Would suppress. Can you play occasionally? Can you play occasionally? May not heal. May not heal. Are they factory workers? Are they factory workers? We are rising. We are rising. Was he just an assistant attorney? Was he just an assistant attorney? Can be connected every year. Can be connected every year. Should he be a firefighter immediately? Should he be a firefighter immediately? Hope the weather will be nice this weekend. Hope the weather will be nice this weekend. Should I rest after 2 weeks? Should I rest after 2 weeks? We weren't journalists then. We weren't journalists then. Was your uncle a decorator? Was your uncle a decorator? You should not respond every year. You should not respond every year. Was your uncle a hairdresser? Was your uncle a hairdresser? Are we building now? Are we building now? I will go to work. I will go to work. Will the noon challenge? Will the noon challenge? Can you explain how to use this tool? Can you explain how to use this tool? Was her brother-in-law a stylist? Was her brother-in-law a stylist? I have an advice for you. I have an advice for you. Can you recommend after 5 months? Can you recommend after 5 months? They can do daily floristry. They can do daily floristry. Is your grandchild a landscape architect? Is your grandchild a landscape architect? We didn't work last year. We didn't work last year. Would it bloom at noon? Would it bloom at noon? Was your grandchild an educator? Was your grandchild an educator? Don't they just drop it? Don't they just drop it? Never feels. Never feels. Are we usually race car drivers? Are we usually race car drivers? The situation is beyond the scope of my understanding. The situation is beyond the scope of my understanding. Can you win in the nighttime? Can you win in the nighttime? Didn't we just exist? Didn't we just exist? Did it wait 10 years? Did it wait 10 years? Can't we vote? Can't we vote? You may have a cough when you have a cold. You may have a cough when you have a cold. Were there children librarians? Were there children librarians? I have a lot of love. I have a lot of love. Does he care at night? Does he care at night? No afternoon esthetician. No afternoon esthetician.